Hi, I'm Allie. Join me as I create these nice little 4-leaf clover earrings, and you can get a list of all the materials you need right below the video in the description. Links there to get to our website. Gather up your disc duos and some crystals and seed beads, and let's get started. So I hope this project brings a little bit of the look of the Irish to you as we go in and create these cute little shamrock earrings. So we're going to do these 4-leaf clovers here, and we are using disc duos. We have 4 of them per little component or earring if you're doing the earring with me. I have size 6 dragon thread on a size 11 needle, and I'm going to begin, because the disc duos do not have a front and a back side, just picking up one disc duo and separating it out by an 11-0, repeating that a total of 4 times to use up all your disc duos. Starting with a disc duo means you want to end with one of your 11-0 seed beads. Once you have the 4 disc duos and the 4 seed beads on your thread and needle, go ahead and drop them down to the base of your thread and tie it into a knot, which is going to make it into this little squared shape. Once you have that, I want you to take your needle and sew through the next disc duo in line. What this is going to do is get us away from that knot that we just created between the 11 and the disc duo. Once we're here, we are going to go up and create little parts of our seed beads here along the sides. But first, while we're here, we're going to decorate the middle. So in the middle, we are going to begin by adding in one 15-0, one 11-0, and then one of our 3mm bicones. Follow that with an 11-0 and a 15-0. And the disc duo we're currently coming out of, we're going to go back into that same disc duo from the opposite side. Once you're out, then we're going to fold that little loop that we made basically toward the middle. Take your needle and go back up through the 15, 11, and out after that 3mm bicone. Coming out there, add an 11 and a 15. Look at the round or the disc duo across from the original one. You're going to go into the bottom, out the top. And then when you're coming out that disc duo, add a 15 and an 11 and go back into that 2mm or that 3mm bicone. That just creates a nice simple X pattern in the middle of the design. If you want to add a little color in the middle of the design, you can also use some gold seed beads, would look nice. We want to get back into the disc duo, so we're going to go down through an 11 and 15 after the 3mm, and then drop down so we're coming out through the disc duo below. If you want to keep your center open, you can certainly do that as well. From here, we're going to sew through the 11-0 that's next in line before the next disc duo. Coming out the 11-0, we're going to circle around the whole project, adding 3 15s, and then catching on to the second hole of all the disc duos. Coming out the disc duo, the second hole, add 3 15s, sew through the 11, that links the disc duo first hole, add 3 more 15s, and go through the outer hole of the next disc duo. One nice thing about this project, and you can feel free to post your pictures of your little 4-leaf shamrock clovers here, that you can go in and change up colors and make it look completely different. After you add in all of your seed beads around the outer edge, you'll also get to a point where you say, this is pretty, and I might just keep it as is. Go ahead and add in the rest of the 15-0s, capping the sides and going through the second hole of your disc duo bead. Once you're done adding the 3 15s along the sides, we're going to add some more 15s and our crystal to the top of our disc duos. The way we're going to do that is go through those 3 15s that you just added along the side of the disc duo. Add on to the top of it here 2 15s, one of your 3mm crystal, and 2 15s. Go down through the 3 seed beads on the opposite side of the disc duo And then, so right over up the 3 seed beads that are on the next edge of the disc duo. So you're not going through the 11 at all. And what that's going to do is make that rounded curve right here, and those seed beads sit a little bit nicer. 2 15s, 1 3mm, 2 15s, and down the next grouping of 3. Once you're down through the 3 15s on the left-hand side of this disc duo, then you're going to go up through the 3 15s on the right side of the next disc duo. Cap the top then with your 2 15s, 3 2 15s, and continue to do so for the next 2 disc duo tops. To make this a little two-dimensional, as you finish up adding your last ridge of crystal there, you're going to come down through the 3 seed beads on the left-hand side of this disc duo, and I want you to go up through the first 2 15s on the right-hand side of the next disc duo. We're going to repeat that the whole way around, just going through and coming out of the first 2 out of that group of 3. When you're coming out of the first 2 here, we're going to add an additional 2 15s, 1 11, 1 15, and we're going to kind of push it to the back there so it gets that 3-dimensional look to it. So you're doing 2 15s, 1 11, 1 15, and then you're going to share the 3mm crystal at the top. As you do so, it's going to want to sit to the top. Just push it down underneath and give a little tight pull. It'll raise those 15 O's to the top and push that 11 O out to the exterior a little bit to act like a ridged leaf. 1 15, 1 11, 2 15s, and then once again, go to the other side, find the 2 closest to the center of the 15, so you're dropping down and ignoring 3 that are there, pushing that towards the back, going up through beads 1 and 2 out of that group of 3, exiting 2 15s, 1 11, 1 15, decorating the exterior by going through that 3mm crystal, pushing that towards the back, and continuing on, doing it to all the little tips of your 4-leaf clover. As you finish adding in your 11 O's and kind of the back of these little 4-leaf clovers, I want you to exit through the first 2 seed beads that you started with going around. So in that group of 3 seed beads on this disc duo here, I'm coming out the first 2, just like we did as we went around and added in that second layer of seed beads. We're going to get ready to add our little stem here. So when adding the stem, you want to think about it as coming off the side. If you want to, you can keep it from the bottom here and go along the top too. It's kind of up to you how you want it to hang and which direction you want it to come from. If you want it to hang to the top, you can kind of force that way up there, and I'll show you how by going in and kind of creating that little stem. So what we're going to do is we are going to make our pairs kind of match but opposite. So this one's going to come out the other way. So when I have them in my ears, they match. So coming out, I want you to add 1 11, followed by 1 of your crystals, 11, crystal, 11, crystal, 11, crystal. Could get to be a broken record here. And we're going to do a total of our 6 crystals. They're all going to be separated out by an 11 to start. And at the base of that 6 crystals, you can do 7 if you want the lucky 7. And you're going to do 3 15s. The 3 15s are just going to hold that last crystal from falling out of place. So we're going to skip over those 3 15s, go back through the first crystal, the first 11, and the second crystal, and then we want our needle and thread to exit. Give a tight little pull, and you're going to add 2 15s. Those 2 15s are going to sit along the side here, which they're a little bit bigger than 1 11, so it's going to force the 11 towards the middle to curve in. So we're going to skip over the 11 O seed bead and sew into the next crystal. As you exit the next crystal, we're going to do the same thing. Go ahead and add 2 of your 15s, skip over the next 11, and sew through the next crystal, the next 11, and the next crystal. And certainly to bend it in different ways, you can use different combination of beads. Coming out here then, I want you to go ahead and use 2 more 15s. And then you're going to sew up through the crystal, the last one in line, and bring your thread and needle out. As you exit, pick up 1 more 11-0 seed bead. You're going to come into the 2 15s that sit on the opposite side. So we came out of the 2 15s right there. You did your little stem, and we're going into the 2 15s that sit next to it. And that's going to create the little stem that's going to go on the opposite side. So you can see how they sit. So cute. Now what we're going to do is work our thread and needle to the top and put on our wire guard. So to put our thread and needle to the top, what you can do also, if you want to make this a little bit stiffer, go back down, reinforce the whole thing, pulling it a little tighter, and that will keep it a little bit stiffer rather than free floating. I don't mind the free floating. I think it's kind of fun and cute. It just kind of hangs there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck actually into my disc duo that sits right next to those seed beads, pull the thread through, and then I'm going to pop up along the top here, kind of wiggling through the seed beads as I exit to add on my wire guard. I'm going to go through the seed beads till I'm coming out the exterior top through that crystal. I'm going to add a 15, my gold wire guard, a little bit of green and gold for you. Go down through the wire guard on the opposite side. Add 1 more 15 after, and then go through that crystal. When you go through the crystal, you're going through the opposite side, so that way your thread starts on one side, wraps around, goes through another side. Go ahead and reinforce that, going back up through your 15 and your wire guard. Down through the other side as well, including the 15 after the wire guard. Back through that crystal, so the wire guard sits nice and in the middle. And now we're going to work our way back towards the interior of the project, going down through the seed beads along the side, tucking into our disc duo to that first hole, sewing and dropping down into the interior hole, so stepping down. And then as you go into the interior hole, just kind of poke your thread and needle, not through any seed beads, but just towards the back. What that's going to do is show you where you need to get to in order to tie off your thread. So flipping it over in the back here, I'm going to sew along that interior row of my disc duos and my 11-0, keeping to the back here. If it pops out the front, not a big deal. Bring it back to the back, going through just that interior hole of the disc duo and through the 11, circling back around, making my way towards my starter thread. As you get the whole way around here then, pop your thread out. Oops. Right behind, next to the thread end that's already there. Green versus green thread, nice and easy. Grab the 2 thread ends, tie them together, and finish up your 4-leaf clover. This can also be done with round duos or round trios for a little bit of a different look as well. Once you have those knots in there, grab your thread burner or thread zap, press the button in to heat it up, burn through the thread, and then burn that thread down towards the interior of the project. It's almost hard to see the thread ends because the thread's green. Pop those up there, burn it down, and finish up your earrings. They're so cute and really, really fun to have these little whimsical seasonal earrings, one for the right, one for the left as the stems come off on different sides. You can wear them on your earring. Just open up your ear wire to the side. I would recommend always using the plastic backs here. Pulling them open to the side, putting your 4-leaf clover on, and wearing them for good luck for the rest of your day. Thanks so much for joining me, and happy St. Patrick's Day. I wish you all the luck in the world as you create your fun 4-leaf clover earrings. Remember, you can make them in different colors too, so they look a little bit more like flowers, and change them up for the seasons. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.